Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Comrade Show.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let me quickly move on to Dr. Loretta Omoroko. Your question for His Excellency.
Thank you, Oriahi. Your Excellency, I actually had a question for you, but following on what the comrade asked, I cannot help but backtrack a bit, sir. He said in Mama, and you answered that question for English. Comrade Mama, not they understand this grammar. Because
I wanted him to translate it to Mama for broken.
Comrade not going to do that one, no. Because the mothers are all listening to you now, sir. They listen.
Okay. So maybe I would have I will follow and speak the grammar way speak.
Exactly, sir. But it's never too late. I will speak this grammar for my question. Go on, sir. Tell Comrade Mama, there are many Mama out there where they watch you, sir.
Well, I don't talk them before and I'm saying the problem where we enter, not because first we will enter that problem. So many people don't enter the same problem and they don't come out because they get better people where they rule them. So now in Nigeria needs to do next get better person where Sabi, where go deal with the problem with the ground.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You do well. Now, for me, everybody knows my background is healthcare primarily. So I have taken time out to look at the front-running political parties and to look at what they have on the table for healthcare in terms of the entire healthcare system revamp for Nigeria. And I dare say that I have a lot of questions on all fronts for everyone, and particularly for you, sir, narrowing it down. What is your vision of a revamped Nigerian healthcare sector? What do you think would be the key ingredients that would help us improve our value for human life?
Well, mine is not to isolate one, either healthcare or education or anything that's separate. Mine is to look at the overall thing and know that they are all interwoven. You can't talk about healthcare separately from issue of poverty, issue of education. They're all the same thing because if you want to deal with HDI, you deal with them simultaneously. And when you talk about HDI, you're talking about health, which is life expectancy, and you're talking about education, I'm talking about per capita income, poverty. So it is in dealing with the economy, you must deal with health. If you're trying to develop movie HDI, where it will be measurable, you deal with health. And you can't do health without talking about primary health care, because that is the foundation. And that foundation, there's a lot you need to do. You need to train the key personnel. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough. There's quite a lot of things you need to do in that sector, which is not going to be just promising. It's something I can tell anybody. We've attempted to do some work while I was governor in Anambra State. When I came and people were talking about healthcare, but we didn't have one single school of nursing that was accredited. No school of midwifery that was accredited. No school of health technology. So for us, you can't deal with it unless you first train the human infrastructure that will drive that process. So you invest in that. And then start building the primary care health centers within villages and everything. Before you even talk about taking it beyond that, we are what you can call lead stage. And we have to aggressively try it first by dealing with the manpower, a human resource, and everything and all that. So that's basically, for me, my contribution tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. You have made it clear that primary health care will be a main focus. And listening to you speaking, I can actually decipher that you're talking about, even though you've not termed it that way, you're talking about the 6 pillars of healthcare as designated by the WHO, the 6 pillars of healthcare systems. But more importantly, I'm really pleased that you have actually identified the fact that healthcare is a continuum and it's a web. It's not just one cadre. It's going to be everybody, the nurses, the physiotherapists, even the porter and the people at the gates, the healthcare assistants, health economists, and all of that. So I think that's a good starting point, sir. I'll give that to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Loretta. We have a caller. Just before I come to pharmacist Iremiran, yes, what is your name and where are you calling from?
And I'm calling from Abuja in Nigeria.
Go ahead, Mr. Douglas. You've got 90 seconds, sir.
Good job that you guys are doing. Thank you, Mr. Obi, for coming to this. The SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. If you look at number 3, in terms of the numbers, number 3 talks about healthcare. I've not heard any presidential candidate or even the governorship candidate talking about healthcare. Healthcare is a mainstream political issue, and it's one thing that actually shows that governments actually care about their people, especially the vulnerable people. What is the Labour Party and your plan for healthcare in Nigeria? I would really like to know that. Thank you very much.
I didn't hear what this person is saying.
Yeah, is asking in summary what your plans are for healthcare system holistically in Nigeria.
You know, when people ask questions and say holistically, there's no way you can come in a situation where in Nigeria, I've just said it now, that you can't take healthcare separate. You can't just go and start, you're dealing with healthcare. You have to deal with all these issues simultaneously, and it has to be a gradual process. You can't just say, I'm going to do healthcare holistically and then abandon education, abandon this. You're going to do that, what I said, it starts with the primary thing. You have to look at the overall picture of development, which is HPI, and say, I want to move this maybe from low to medium. In doing this, you're going to be tackling healthcare, tackling the issue of education, an issue to do with poverty, because people have to have jobs, they have to have means of livelihood. They talk about healthcare, you talk about the education, and everything simultaneously. And I've said where we'll start. I'm not going to tell anybody we're going to come now and start building socialist hospitals all over the place. You start from the basic. And that basic foundation is to have facilities to train the human infrastructure that is required. Then dealing with primary health care facilities within rural areas.
Dr. Loretta Morocco.
Thank you very much, the comrades and 3 musketeers. And thank you to everybody who managed to stay until this time and catch this program. I just want to commend something that Mr. Peter Obi said, and that was the fact that he's going to keep on speaking to every Nigerian he can manage to reach, because he wants to be held accountable on his words. And I also want to thank Professor Pat Utomi for what he said about ensuring that the PVCs are actually collected and actualized. But I think what gladdened my heart the most this evening perhaps with health being my primary constituency, was listening to a candidate who admitted that the healthcare system in Nigeria is more than just one group of core professionals. The healthcare system is way beyond health. It incorporates a whole lot of other aspects of human life and governance, i.e. economics, power, education, security, ICT, infrastructure. But also, more importantly, he understood that primary healthcare is the foundation of creating a solid bedrock. Because I have been opportune to study healthcare systems. And I've found out that from Canada to America to the UK, our beloved NHS here, primary healthcare is the fulcrum of any healthcare system worth its salt, because it improves your prevention. And prevention is far cheaper and wiser than cure. And then you then have time to tackle the tertiary problems or illnesses. But more importantly, there was something he said that really stuck. He said it's not the time to build new structures in healthcare. So he understands that the healthcare system has enough structures on ground. We have PHCs that are not functional. We don't need to build new ones. We can begin to overhaul all the ones we have on ground. And then he touched on a sore topic, human capacity building in health. You can have a massive hospital. You can have equipment, but people that are not there to run it, they won't run themselves. We need proper human capacity building across our healthcare ecosystem. People who understand these machines and how to use them. And when you've done anything with any machine, you can interpret the results. And when you interpret the results, you have the facility to do or put anything to use. I know gentlemen are wondering, why is she going on about healthcare? But the truth is that we need to have value for human life.
Dr. Loretta Boroka, I just want to cut in, very briefly. You are a medical doctor. You live in the UK. There are many of us.
I live across borders now. Yeah.
Nigerians, doctors, professionals, nurses, live in Nigeria in droves. As a matter of fact, it's been reported, by many sources that we are getting short of healthcare professionals because people are going outside of Nigeria to apply their trade abroad and all of that. Will that not be a problem for this president? For Peter Obi when he's elected or if he's elected?
So interestingly, there's a ratio of doctors that is said as standard to patients. So ideally, you should have about one doctor to about 600 to 500 patients, WHO standards. And the same thing for nursing care as well. But we have a population of over 250 million. So in the first place, if I speak for medicine, we don't even have enough doctors to tackle our 250 million. And now we have more than half of those people outside of the country. So it means we have to look inwards. It is where we now need to obviously upgrade the capacity of our community health extension workers, of our nurses. We need to build their capacity to such a stage that they can, where there is no doctor, they can cope and then they know when to refer. And that's why Mr. Obi hit the nail on the head. You must get the primary health care working, even with all of these doctors leaving. Now, the interesting thing, Comrade Oriahi, is that you cannot stop anybody from moving to where they want to go to, but you can affect or address the factors that are driving them out. And one of them is, look at what happened just now. Nigeria happened to us. There was no light. There was a power outage. If you are a surgeon and you are operating and there's a power outage, how are you going to feel? How is the patient going to be looked after? So Mr. Obi is right in saying that we need to tackle everything. But at the same time, when people leave the shores of the country, it is not, and I repeat this, it is not the final nail in the coffin. In fact, it is a liberation. Because look at India. There's what you call brain regain, or you call it brain gain. Now we are having brain drain, but we can convert it if we have enabling governance and an enabling system. A lot of people right now who are outside the United Kingdom, or who are outside the country, Nigeria, in the UK, US, anywhere, whether we like it or not, a lot of them are in the healthcare sector in all these other countries. We know the number of Nigerians in the NHS. So what I'm saying is that if we have a man on board who understands what he is doing, and he comes back home and creates an enabling environment, then you're going to find a reversal, which is what has happened in India. You're going to find a reversal of all these brains that have been drained. And what happens is that they will come back better. They'll come back understanding the tenets of patient-centered care. They will come back knowing that the patient is king. They'll come back with a lot more skills. So I would posit that those who want to leave, they can leave. We need them to leave now so that they are better groomed, they are better ironed, they are better fashioned, they understand the meaning of teamwork in healthcare or in any other place they may be, but especially in healthcare, and that by the time we have a man who understands what to do, they are ready to come back. So that's going to be opportunity. It's going to meet preparation. So let's see these as the sacrificial times. And I know that every single Nigerian patient out there is worth it. Our heart bleeds that people are living in their droves. But at this time, the two major things we have to do is primary healthcare, think out of the box, empower our healthcare providers. And of course, when I say empower our healthcare providers, I'm talking across board. Ambulance drivers, pharmacists, nurses, even the porter at the gate, everybody, empower them. Empower the community health extension workers, the traditional birth attendants, standardize all these public healthcare systems we have seen about the place, get them to have standards so that they become the base of our own primary healthcare, and see what's going to happen. Of course, the NHIS must become alive. We must find a way to increase the uptake, and then just see how everything is going to snowball and make Nigeria one of the foremost and really living giants of Africa in healthcare.
Thank you very much, Dr. Loretta. I'm hoping that Obi becomes president, and hopefully you will have a role to play in the health sector under his presidency. Lastly, because we spent so much time today, Dr. Obi and Dr. Agbansel, the incoming president, Peter Obi, did not really expose anything concerning his plans about security. Are you satisfied with this response?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. We know security, you know how dicey it is. And I think he has said it in some other, media chats. Security is not something that you can really just say everything, because it's quite technical and strategic. I'm satisfied, very satisfied.